So now we're going to take a look at what this earnings efficiency model would look like with actually using a real company. So obviously we have to use Apple because everyone uses Apple for generic stock, for a generic stock example. So here are the earnings efficiency calculations over the last 10 years. And actually I think there's 9, but that's only because this value isn't actually for all of 2017, it's just for a part of it. So here's all of our earnings efficiencies for the last 10 years. And that's showing, again, that's showing for every $1 of earnings how much is actually being added to the book value. So you would prefer your earnings efficiency to be higher rather than lower. So to get the median earnings efficiency, what I did was I took the median of all of these values, and but then I added it to the median of the last 5 so that there would be more weight on what's been going on with the earnings efficiency over the last 5 years, and then I divided that by 2. So that's where I got this median earnings efficiency calculation. The current real earnings per share, as I call them, will take the earnings efficiency, the most recent earnings efficiency, and then multiply it by the most recent EPS. And then current book value, that's just referencing the current book value, obviously. And then these are EPS projections, which I normally get off of the internet. And I know what you're thinking is, well, Apple's EPS it's not just 3, it's probably much higher. But as you can see, these last few earnings efficiencies have been extremely low. So I kind of had to play with these EPS projections rather than using the ones that are out there in order to come up with an actual book value chart that made sense, because otherwise it was just shooting straight up over here when I plugged in like 7 or whatever the EPS projections were for Apple. And that's just because it's using this earnings efficiency in order to calculate that. So I had to kind of lower these in order to get a real looking chart. So once I plug in this, it tells me that the book value in 3 years is probably going to be around 29.3. And then we know that the median price to book ratio for Apple is around 5.18. So when we multiply those together, that will give us the stock price in 3 years. So my projection is that Apple will be around $152 in 3 years. And currently the price is trading around 127, 128. So that would give you an annual 6% return. And then all of this over here is just if things go wrong, if crap hits the fan, then I think that Apple will be around right where it is today. So 126.5, so not very much of a downside. And then if everything goes extremely well, then it'll be almost $200. And basically what that's doing is it's also using this earnings efficiency and then just kind of creating like a window. So you could say that this is like the lowest end projection, and then this is my prediction, and then this one is like a really high end projection, and that uses like statistical data. So it's using like the average, the skew, standard deviation, or percentiles in IQR. But the main number that we need to be looking at the main numbers that we need to be looking at are over here. And so yeah, projection for Apple, 6% return. And I will be doing more of these videos based on the earnings efficiency model, and hopefully you guys will tune in.